Welcome to the Pennywine Podcast with Mike, Jake, Josh, and Tosh. How you guys doing today?
Howdy.
We got an interesting 4-pack of movies for you guys. We got Rosemary's Baby, we got Zombeavers, we got When a Stranger Calls, and we got the Howling. The Howling. So two of the movies came out around the same time, which is like the Howling and When a Stranger Calls, right?
Mm-hmm. A couple years apart.
Years apart, but cultural, similarities there. And yeah, I mean, I think that's all the intro we need. I don't want to, delay getting into the good stuff. So, what is everybody drinking today? Also, we invite everybody listening and get yourself a snack and a drink. Relax and join along with us.
We'll wait until you get your snack.
Okay. They just unpaused it. All right, so I'm drinking some rum and Sprite because I'm basic. So that's what's going on with me.
I'm drinking a Blue Point Brewing IPA because it was BOGO this week.
Nice. I'm drinking a Belgian specialty beer called Atomium. Pretty good shit.
And I'm drinking just an ice cold Pepsi.
Oh yeah. Mike's Hard Pepsi. Almost as good as Mike's Hard Mayonnaise.
I feel like alcoholic mayonnaise is going to be a thing here soon. We're already using that alcoholic seltzer water.
No, please. Please no, Salsarino. So I figured, why don't we go in order since we have a range of dates that the movie came out. Let's go order of like the oldest movie first, and work up to the newest.
Well, would that be the case? That would be Rosemary's Baby because it was in 1968.
Tasha recommended this one last week, and
interesting movie.
It was interesting, but a thing that I want to say right off the bat is the lady, she drinks wine while she's pregnant, and that really bothered me.
No, there were several things that we can talk about that were relating to that subject.
First of all, don't drink while you're pregnant, ladies. Isn't that right, Tasha?
Yes.
I mean,
Okay.
and she's like drinking anything that anybody makes her and stuff. Like, come on. And did you notice? Just one thing. Sorry. At the very end, when she's going in and she discovers like everybody in the next door. She goes through the door through the closet, and she walks in on the wall. There's a painting of is it Notre Dame on fire? Is that what that was?
I didn't.
There's a church on fire on the side. I was like, that was kind of.
I didn't notice that, but I think you might have discovered a conspiracy theory there, Josh.
Yeah, because I didn't catch that.
It's the scene as soon as she's walking through that hallway. They had the pans along the painting. Then you have there's a building on fire, and it's a church. I don't know if that was Notre Dame or not, but she's Catholic too.
That's good.
Maybe they foreshadowed the Notre Dame burning down thing that happened.
That was a little ironic with the whole.
We're gonna start the trend of overanalyzing Rosemary's Baby like everyone does with The Shining.
Frame one.
But
So,
back to when we was talking about her drinking while she was pregnant, she was also eating raw eggs, which is a big no-no as well.
Yeah, and I wrote in my notes that she was drinking coffee a few times. I don't know if it was decaf, but when I was watching, I was like writing a list of all the things she was doing she shouldn't be while she's pregnant.
Well, coffee, you can drink a little bit of caffeine. You can't have a lot, but you can have some.
Okay.
Everyone listening's like, talk about the movie.
Well, this was the main thing I was watching in the movie. That's the main thing that bothered me.
Create a devil baby. 101.
Yeah, and did you notice any nitpicks with pregnancy, Josh, before I go to a different topic?
No, I mean, I was just shaking my head every single time she drank anything that anybody made for her. Like, anything.
Oh, yeah.
She didn't care. She's like, I was like, don't drink that.
Trusted everyone.
Even before she got pregnant. Like, it was just like any dude would just create a drink and she'd drink it and had no problem with it, not even a hesitation. So after that, like once I saw that, I was like, oh man, this is gonna be good.
Yeah, it's in the water, boys. It's in the water.
So, Tasha,
Yes.
what made you pick this movie specifically?
Well, The main reason why I picked this one is because this month was for Mother's Day, and where she just happened, to be pregnant and everything. I just thought it would be fitting for Mother's Day.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good point. Did we watch it on Mother's Day? When did we watch it? Like
We watched it a couple days before Mother's Day.
Okay. Yeah, we were going to on Mother's Day, but I think we went to the drive-in.
We did.
So. In the zoo. But anyways, I thought the pacing of Rosemary's Baby was a little slow. She seemed like she was almost like an anti-vaxxer or something because she just kept trusting like these natural remedies and shit. And like, I don't know, I thought it was obviously like cockamamie stuff after like the first 20 minutes of the movie.
And everybody treated her like a moron too the whole time too. So like they never would have given her the benefit of the doubt with anything that she did or decided to do. They're kind of careless. Like if they're trying to sneak whatever they're doing at the end, like she got a book, she started reading. They're like, "Oh, you can read? What is this?" And,
yeah, it was.
I didn't know you could read.
To me, it felt like it was like subtly like a feminist movie kind of, because it was basically just all these people telling this woman what she needs to do for her body, for the baby, and like they were telling her she couldn't read this book about witches, she couldn't see her friends. It was just like, I felt bad for her the entire time.
Yeah, and when she tried to run away. Go ahead, Tosh.
Sorry. Well, see, what bothered me at the very, very end, when she finally came into the room and saw her baby, he's like, "Don't rock it. Get away from the baby." It's like, that's her baby. Let her be near it and take care of him.
Yeah, don't tell me what to do.
Especially that one lady, like, she's like, "You can't rock the baby," or something like that.
And she was rocking that baby real fast.
Like, what?
Go to sleep. Go the fuck to sleep.
The funniest thing to me out of all four movies was at the very end when the Asian guy with the camera, and he's just like, "Hail Satan!" I noticed this, or this is how I took it. That last scene it read to me way different than the rest of the movie. The last scene was just like a dark comedy bit. It didn't.
Yeah.
It felt way different than the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it was a different tone for sure.
I feel like there's quite a few of those type of movies out there to where like it just changes the last 5 minutes and like you have no idea what the hell the last hour and a half was in general. Like what was it?
Also. Oh, sorry, did I interrupt you?
No, I made a noise. Hell. But
speaking of, so
Hereditary. Sorry. Okay, I'm good. I'm done.
Hereditary?
Okay.
Yeah, like how that movie just changed the last minute too. It had everybody. I mean, it's the kind of premise though: the devil's baby or the devil's kid.
Yeah, it did. I was kind of thinking of Hereditary because I just watched that a few weeks ago.
Maybe we'll have to do a discussion on that one day. But speaking of her getting like basically nobody listening to her, when she went to the payphone, for some reason all I could think of, with the modern day with the smartphones and stuff, is when she goes to the payphone, it seems like it would be so unsanitary, like the phone would be so dirty, and for some reason it just bugged me just to see her like put it straight on her face like that instead of doing the hover thing or something. I was like, "Oh man, you gonna get sick! All right, swine flu coming at you right now."
I felt the same way in the Howling. I think there's a payphone scene at the beginning, and I was thinking that too.
Yes.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. I'm glad we don't have to touch dirty payphones. Otherwise, I'd be like carrying around Purell wipes everywhere.
Yeah.
We just have to touch money, which is the dirtiest thing ever.
Yeah, actually.
I don't think about that.
When she first met. When the neighbor came over for the first time and she was asking about how much everything cost, that bothered me. I just feel like that was really rude.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Like when the old lady came into her apartment for the first time to borrow sugar or something. She's like, "Oh, this is a beautiful cow. How much did it cost?" Like everything.
Oh yeah, that was kind of rude.
Yeah. She handled it quite well though. Like I didn't realize that she was offended. The the receiving end until after the lady left. But she kind of hit it to be like, oh, this is a normal type of thing, and I'm like looking like this ain't normal. Why are you letting this lady do all this stuff? But she's just being a polite girl. But,
yeah, that kind of stuff happened throughout the whole movie. I think kind of going back to the whole thing about the witch coven was just trying to rob her of her like privacy and individuality throughout, and they were just the old woman, I forget the couple's name, but there were several times throughout the movie where she would just knock on the door at inopportune times and just come in and give her like that nasty cake or whatever that raw egg shake was that she always drank.
Yes.
Yeah.
it was funny because the first time I attempted to watch the movie a few weeks ago, and I was extremely tired at the time, and I was watching it with Colby, and like I fall asleep in the beginning, and then I wake up right in the middle of the sex scene, like where all these old naked people are. I'm like, what the hell is going on right now?
Yeah, that was
funny. Do you think she's like switched the input to like some kind of weird porn or something?
Right?
HDMI 2, abort.
Yeah, no, at that time I just said I needed to bookmark that and make sure I rewatch everything so I can understand what the hell just happened.
Yeah, the whole sex scene, I thought the shots were pretty cool because there was one where I think she laid down on the bed and then I don't think it cut, but then she sat up and she was like in a hallucination on a boat or something.
Yep.
It was kind of cool visuals for that.
Yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
No, it was
That
interesting
was cool.
for that time.
I think now that we're going into the positives, I think conceptually there's a couple things that were really scary that might not have been executed in the best way, and maybe I'm just looking at it from a modern lens, where things have been sort of improved over time a little bit. But basically, one of the things I was thinking of was when she finds out that there is basically a secret hallway attached to her apartment. That's like a really conceptually scary thing. I don't know if that's like a normal thing for like apartment buildings or hotels, and I guess you'd be able to tell by the geometry of the building if you really paid attention to that. But like I could totally see myself not knowing that, because I always forget which window faces which way out of my house because I'm an idiot. But so like I don't really pay attention to the outside geometry. But I thought like, oh man, if there was like a secret room in my house right now where there was like a skeleton in it or something, that's such a scary concept to me. I love that like idea. I have dreams about it sometimes, like, oh, there's a secret room in my basement and there's like crap in it that I don't want to find.
Yeah, and they kind of do, I think, what a lot of people would possibly do too, just like pretend like it's not there and it's ignored, and like just because they're that scared of it, to where like if you're kind of a chicken and you don't want to find out, like you're just like, okay, we'll just
put a wardrobe in front of it.
put some shelves in front of it. We'll be good. But yeah.
Put some shelves on that bitch. Well, I have run out of things to say about Rosemary's Baby. Do you guys have any closing statements before we go into scores?
Well, I really like the movie overall, kind of echoing what you guys said. It wasn't like a jump scare slasher type of movie, but it was more of a horror you can't really put your finger on, but it just made you feel uneasy, and you kind of felt, I felt bad for Rosemary the entire time, and then in the ending, when she just kind of gave in and gave in to the witches, I kind of was like, oh, I felt bad for her. But I mean, at the same time, it's kind of like, I don't have a child, so I'm sure Tasha and Mike could say better, but you basically she just chose what was best for her demon offspring.
Yeah, no, I like that too. I think it's an interesting concept in general, and I do like how a lot of scary movies kind of go with like some type of concluding end that's preferably what the viewer wants. But like this one, it made you kind of reach out a little bit and be like, huh, I guess I don't really know that mother-child relationship as well, because I feel like if I gave Spawn to the devil, I might be a little on the opposite side of what she did. But yeah,
and she still loves the baby, which is surprising to me. I guess that's just the mother's love, because
Yeah.
If I was the father to a baby like that, I'd be like, nah.
Well, you don't carry the baby for 9 months either.
Yeah. No, that's true.
I mean, that baby was giving her
Got me there.
half of it. She was in constant pain for three months or so.
Yeah, she was in pain so long.
Oh yeah, she had a miserable time.
Yeah.
Even when I was carrying Molly, I had my moments of pain, but
Yeah. I bet Tosh probably related to this movie the most.
yes.
I'm sure, yeah.
So like, this is a nightmare. Like the Scott Pilgrim thing in the background. Oh no, this is a nightmare.
But one other thing I wanted to say. Am I the only one that I always thought this was a Stephen King story?
Really?
Until I don't know why.
It does have that feel, but you gotta think about the time. I don't even think Stephen King was writing. Well, he might have been writing at that time.
No, I don't. I'm just saying, like, I would always hear the title, and I always just assumed it was a Stephen King book. I don't know why.
But even by looking at the cover, you could kind of feel like it might have a Stephen King relation. Because it looked like something he would do.
Yeah, it did. It felt very Stephen King, but before Stephen King.
Yeah. Yes, worse.
Yeah, so I liked this movie. I thought it was a better than average movie. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 6 out of 10.
Alright, well, I'm giving it a 7, because it's always been a personal favorite.
Yeah, I'll do 6 out of 10.
I'll do 7. I really enjoyed it. I do think they could have probably cut 30 minutes or so out of the movie, and it would have done the same thing.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of it could have been cut at the very beginning.
Yeah.
Because who cared about all what this guy did for acting? Who really cares? What he's played.
Sorry, I just thought of something else.
No, you're fine.
Oh, we didn't talk about that at all. The guy trading basically the baby for his acting career. The deal with the devil. We didn't even discuss that.
Well, he wasn't a big person.
Yeah, it really wasn't a big subplot, but
Yeah,
it is the premise for the whole story.
Even though it seems like that's what happened, the premise was they didn't outline it at all as much. You kind of had to really pay attention to that part.
Yeah.
I think it would have been better, and this is me rewriting the story, but I think it would have played better as a kind of a mystery. Because during the devil sex scene, you see that the husband's in on it, so after that, you know that everything he does is with insidious intent. So I think it would have been better if you didn't see that, and you just kind of were guessing, like, is she actually crazy, or did this really happen?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, the whole when she's calling, I guess his buddy's friend or something like that, and the friend said that he has his tie, and the husband has the friend's tie. And that way, you get the friend being a blind. That's how the friend became blind.
Yep.
According to the book she's reading.
Yep.
Yeah. I want to see what the results are too. Like, did it make him a better actor, or did it make it so that he knew people who would give him roles? You know what I mean? Like, did it make him so good that he would just automatically get roles because he can just act that well? Because he didn't look any different, so it's not like, I don't know.
I think he just was able to get the roles. I don't think he was any better of an actor.
So maybe it just like influences the decision maker's mind to give him the job, but doesn't change his skill set.
I think, like Josh was saying, the guy that went blind was the other actor that was up for the role that the husband eventually got.
Oh, so it was just
I think
backup.
And he had to take a personal item or a clothing or a personal item from whoever the person is.
Oh, I missed that. I missed that part.
The husband was an understudy. He was an understudy through most of any of his roles.
Oh, he was the understudy special.
Yep.
So yeah, that's how I guess he just got his big break because the other guy went blind.
Yeah.
Nice. Great.
So, any other thoughts?
No, I enjoyed it.
All right. Well.
Yeah, I liked it. Better than average.
All right, well, next one would be When a Stranger Calls, because that one is 1979, so it's the next oldest.
Man, I got so much to say about this one. I'm excited.
Me too.
Didn't like it at all. I didn't.
What? This one's my favorite in the set. I'm going to spoil that right now.
Funny.
I know we do
I don't
rankings
see
at
any
the
kind
end.
of horror thing with it in general. I just think it's some weasel that just keeps escaping, and when you don't catch him, he's like, I got your kids, type of thing. Like,
Before we go any farther, this was Josh's pick.
I know,
Yes.
no,
Yes.
it was Colby's pick, but yes, I'll take it. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's probably that one.
You guys are a team. You get credit too.
I know.
You get credit for the successes and the failures.
And yep. No, I think this one, out of all the movies, for me, was I would put at the bottom of the list. But I'm curious to see what you guys think.
So let's just say that babysitter was not very good because she should honestly have at least checked on the kids at least once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not checking on the kids saved her life. Being a bad babysitter.
Yeah. Can we say like the sequence that's at the beginning, the 20 minutes where it's like over her shoulder, where it's super scary. The cinematography is showing you the background in a very James Wan-esque style, which I know he came after, but it just reminds me of that because I watch modern horror. But like when it shows behind her, and a few times I literally thought I saw a figure behind her, like behind the couch and in that blackness area. I was looking intently on that. My heart was racing, and then like inside of the house I thought was super scary. So like the first 20 minutes, if that would have been drawn out for the whole movie and it would have just been one actor in one house and that was it, then this would probably be a 9 out of 10 for me.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Spoiler alert, I'm not
I
giving
don't
this
like how,
a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I don't like how that drawn out. The music, though, was interesting. I didn't mind the music. The music was good.
Yeah, the music and the use of the phone ringing.
Yeah.
It was. The whole time I was watching that first 20 minutes at least, I was thinking of the original Halloween because this came out the year afterwards. So I was like, this is kind of a ripoff of that. Like some of the just using of the extremely quiet shots and kind of the over the shoulder, and they would just cut to shots of the outside of the house, just showing how isolated it was. But it was a ripoff in a great way. I loved that first 20 minutes. Like it was tense, and I was squirming a little bit when she was trying to unlatch the door to run out. Yeah. So it was very effective in building suspense, but I had no idea. I thought the whole movie was going to be like kind of Halloween, where it's just a babysitter running from a guy. Yeah. And then
that's what I thought.
I wish that would have been
it. That's my issue. Is like it didn't do that at all, and it just dragged it out like completely a lot longer than it ever should have. But that was my.
It could be cut down for sure.
Yeah,
it could be cut down. Also, wasn't like while we're talking about that first 20 minutes, because that's what I have the most to say about, because it's the best. But like that was the worst police officer ever. And first of all, she should have lied when she called him. She should have said like, someone is trying to break into my house. You know, I saw the person outside. They're like banging. They're trying to like test the locks and trying to get in and stuff. And they would just send a car over. Like, she needs to just lie to get them over there if she's that concerned about it. You know, she could have called him back and be like, you know what, you were right, but I just actually saw him. He's trying to get in here. There's some children here. Get your ass over here and stop being lazy.
No, my expectations of cops in all horror movies they're usually the worst cops you could probably run into.
If the impact security system can make the cops come for no reason, why won't they come to help her? Because sometimes if I disable the security system once or twice in the 5 years I've been there, the cops will come anyways. Even though I disabled it just fine and it turned off, it'll still call the police sometimes.
Yeah.
And the cop will come, and I'll just like be like, "Yeah, I work here," and he just believes me and leaves. So I'm like, okay. So if somebody ever breaks in, then all they have to be is like, "Yeah, I work here, dude. We're good. It's all cool."
I feel like, you know, as soon as the parents left, she should have locked the doors, because I've babysitted before, and that's always been the number one thing.
Yeah. Well, it might have been the culture back then might have been different. I don't know. Well, I wasn't, an
Well, I
adult
wasn't born
in
either, so.
the 80s. I mean,
Well,
you were
this
born
is
in the late 80s.
This
Oh,
was
okay.
79.
I thought this was early the early 80s.
No, this was 79.
But
Okay, sorry, I was
I-
thinking 81, 79.
I think this premise, like it's been in the premise of the person calling from inside the house and blah
Yeah,
blah blah.
like Scream. Isn't
That's been an urban legend for
Yeah.
a long
heard
time.
that.
I think even before this movie. So I think it was.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think this movie invented that trope. I think it was kind of like the hook hand guy as
Oh,
like
I
an
love
urban
that
legend
one.
and that type of stuff.
Yeah. I've read it in a book before.
Yeah, the book, was it The Babysitter and the Man Upstairs?
Yeah. Something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I'm
That sounds
Wikipedia
similar.
right now.
Which I think it was.
Wikipedia
in
man.
that, I think it was in that Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark book. I think.
Oh,
that was,
yeah. That's a good book.
It is a good book.
Let me see.
We'll have to review that movie when it comes out.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, all right. I'll keep on with this, but I could
Yeah, keep on the topic a little bit.
All right.
I'm bad for deviating too. We'll kind of keep the deviations to 30
But November.
seconds.
All right, Rick and Morty. All right, we're good.
If you guys want to talk a little bit about the shitty part of the movie, one of the things I thought was really funny, and I'm sorry to say this, I hope it's not like super offensive to people listening, but I thought it was really funny when like the fat guy was trying to keep up with the guy that was running away. Like you never see that in movies anymore. They never have like bigger actors like that running. And just because I haven't seen it on screen for so long, I just thought it was really funny.
Well,
It
and just
completely took me out of the movie.
just the fact, why would the police force send their oldest, fattest cop to chase down a serial killer?
Yeah, and he doesn't even get his, like, I need some backup.
I would be really like bummed out if the criminal actually got caught by the fat cop and be like, "Oh, come on, man."
Well, the thing is, he was not an actual cop. He was just a detective.
Oh, yeah, was he a private detective?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So he's a private
Yeah, you're right, Tasha.
Yeah, so he's not a... But anyway, even so, alright, even if it's the fat private detective, like, I just thought it was funny that they had an on-foot chase scene.
Well, they had I have several gripes about that whole middle section, but my biggest gripe was that whole cat and mouse thing of him chasing him went on for way too long.
I know.
There was
Yeah.
like 5 chase scenes.
Yeah, and there was no suspense there.
Yeah.
I knew that he wasn't going to catch him. Like, there was
He
no
wasn't a
suspense.
scary figure to me at all. He was not scary. He was just
No.
like an annoying little rodent that just
Yeah.
knew how to get away, and that was it.
You know how he, like, in the bed sequence when he, like, crawled out of there without him noticing? I thought that was the funniest thing ever. Like, he just covered his face. He's like, he put the blanket over his head.
That's
You wanna-
ridiculous.
Do you want to know how to not create suspense and terror for your villain? Have them cower under a bed sheet.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I don't know, because they were going for the creeper vibe, not the intimidation vibe, though. Because they already showed him like getting his ass kicked, right? He was the guy who got his ass kicked. at
but
the bar.
I don't think they succeeded in the creeper vibe.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, it obviously felt like 2 completely different movies, the first 20 minutes and then the middle.
Yeah.
But it's
Yes.
just, it didn't even feel like the same antagonist, because in the beginning it's like there's this crazy man that killed 2 children with his bare hands
Yeah.
and like mutilated them beyond recognition. And then you cut to later and he's just this little wimpy guy in a bar that's trying to ask a girl out and then gets beat up. It just did not, tonally and story-wise, it did not feel like the same movie at all.
Like I wouldn't even understand the perspective of the babysitter or the woman there. It's like, how are you scared of this dude? He's not doing anything. He's just sneaking around playing hide and seek. But I guess he's super sneaky, and that's the issue. Pulled a sneaky on you.
He's a sneaker.
See, I thought that older lady in the middle was the babysitter for the longest time.
Oh yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it just jumped like 7 years later. It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I kind of thought that too, and then I was like, no, there's no way that's Carol Kane 7 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He smoked a lot of cigarettes. That's what happened.
Yeah.
I wish that after the initial creep out that the lady would have been like a little bit more concerned to the point where she like got some security cameras. Because I actually asked my dad about this, because he was all obviously alive at the time, and I was like, dude, could you have just like went over to Radio Shack and got some like security cameras? And he's like, well, I don't know about Radio Shack, but I could have like bought some security cameras back then. Like he remembers that they still existed back then and they weren't like super expensive.
Yeah, I think
I don't know. Maybe security system.
Well, the woman wasn't even scared of him. Like, the shots of her like walking home from the bar were really good. They were beautiful, and it kind of built this suspense and unease. But then she gets to her apartment, and the creepy murderer comes out from behind the corner, and she's just like, "Oh, what do you want?"
She's like, "God damn it, Bobby."
Yeah.
Like you're not more alarmed that this guy somehow followed you and is right outside your door, and then she just walks into her apartment, leaves her door open, doesn't care.
No, my favorite scene was the bed scene when like she like undid the covers and there he is like just hiding underneath the bed. I laughed really hard at that one.
Just to follow up, did everybody else think that the dude like super overreacted at the bar that just like beat his ass? Like I thought that the aggressive dude was going to be the guy that was hiding in the closet because I still hadn't connected the dots that the dude that got his ass kicked was going to be the killer guy at the time. Maybe they revealed it and I just didn't notice. But like when that happened, like he was like, "Leave the lady alone," and then like he got all blood in his face like that, which I understand why he did it after he spit on him, like that he punched him. But he didn't need to like drag him into the bathroom and like kick his ass even more. Like that was a little bit much. Yeah. Well, the barkeep didn't call the police after he left in there. I'm like, what an asshole.
The guy that beat his ass was one of his only 2 customers. He wasn't about to get him in trouble.
That's one of my regs. One of my regs.
Bankrupt.
Maybe he tips like $100.
Maybe orders $100 worth of drinks.
Yeah, maybe he orders $100 worth of drinks and then he tips
$100. He just grabbed. Well, he must not pay for shit because he just grabs the bottle of wild turkey and just pours half of it on the guy.
Well, yeah, you remembered it was wild turkey. I was going to point that out.
I just watched it like a day ago. It's the freshest in my memory.
Yeah, I know you watched Zombeavers a day ago too, because Big Brother's watching.
No, I did.
Yeah,
I did. I think I did. Oh no, I did a couple days ago, but yeah.
One thing I watched like a video analysis of this movie because I was so angry with it afterwards. I found out that the actor that they hired to play the killer, he was like terminally ill with some I don't know what, some disease. So that's why he looks so kind of emaciated and skinny and sick, because he was. So it's like that's terrible for that guy, but if you're trying to have a guy that's supposed to be menacing and intimidating, probably not a guy who's on his deathbed,
I don't think that's what they were going for, though. They weren't going for menacing and intimidating, because if they were, then they wouldn't have had the guy like beat him up.
Well, okay, menacing and creepy, I get. But let me ask you. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Somebody else talk.
Well, yeah, like I agree in that. Like, I didn't think he was a very scary villain, but I did think that the couple of sequences, like the sequence at the very beginning and the sequence at the very end, were both very suspenseful. The one at the beginning is a little stronger than the one at the end, but I liked them both pretty well. If the one at the beginning was its own short film, like 20-minute short film, it would be one of the best short films I've ever seen.
I just wonder, what was the main point of adding that middle? Like, why 7 years when they don't, like, there's nothing put into that middle to make that 7 years.
That's true. There's no real connection to the beginning and the middle and the end.
No, because he didn't act like he was hunting for the babysitter, because he knew exactly where she was at.
Yeah, it's like you made a sandwich and you put like all the ingredients instead of in between the 2 slices of bread. You got 2 slices of bread
in this thing,
and then to the side you got like the bologna and the lettuce and like all that over here.
You could have
here's your sandwich.
No, it's the grilled Charlie from Always Sunny, where he puts like the cheese and peanut butter on the outside of the bread.
Yeah, the meat and potatoes, they blew their load at the beginning of the movie, and they did not know where to go from there.
Yeah. No, because they didn't explore anything during that 7 year, like, if she's finally, like, feeling safe or any of that. Like, they just skipped 7 years forward. everything was normal. They weren't talking about issues about the guy in the past, but then like suddenly, oh, the guy came up again. But like they never really explored the, not the antagonist, but the protagonist, maybe.
Yeah.
But like they didn't really explore their viewpoint. They just kind of skipped ahead and said, "All right," and the story continued.
I guess I think what they were going for with the 7 years was to try to focus on the killer and try to show more of his psyche, but they really didn't do any of that. It was, if you're trying to make us sympathize with the guy, they should have had him have more of a hard time. He just kind of was walking around begging for money and running from this fat guy.
Right.
Or if you're trying to make us scared of this guy, have him like killing more people as he's trying to find the babysitter or just trying to do whatever. But he, at the end of the day, he killed 2 children. I could go down the road and find a worse serial killer than that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, was it this movie?
Well, you do live in Orlando.
Closet?
Wait, what?
Was there a husband that was dead in the closet, or a boyfriend, or a guy that fell out of the
Oh yeah,
closet?
her husband was.
Oh yeah, that was funny. I did laugh.
I don't think he was dead though, because he was still like moaning or making noise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was.
I didn't get that
Really?
either. They didn't like really show him, and that guy was a failure.
He was breathing.
I mean, there was somebody watching the kids apparently, but it just didn't really work that well.
Yeah, the only guy less intimidating than the killer was the husband at the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that the acting was pretty good when she had the breakdown at the restaurant, though.
Yeah.
That was a hard scene to pull off, I thought.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, overall the acting was fine. I just think the guy playing the killer was miscast, and they didn't really do anything. They didn't do anything to explore the killer's motivation or anything. I just thought it felt like a short story, and they were like, that's not going to fill 90 minutes. Let's just throw a cat and mouse detective story in the middle.
Yeah.
I think this is the one I disagree with all 3 of you guys the most, because I actually liked the ambiguity a little bit, like the not knowing what his motives are, like why he was doing things. I know he wasn't intimidating, but like I've met creepy people like that. I'm always thinking that they're gonna do something weird like that.
It was hard for me to keep focused.
Yeah. So not to dwell on this one for too long. Oh, what?
No, I was just wondering, like, did they even give any reason why it was these particular children specifically? Like, does he just go around killing all children, or is it just something to do
It
with
seemed like he just
the other
went,
family?
picked a random house.
Yeah, there was no reasons for anything given, which is fine with me, but I could see how that could be like a contention. I've been nitpicky for a lot of the movies we've talked about, but for some reason I just excused it when I was watching this one. I don't know why. So, just to do my rating really fast, I think like this is my favorite of the 4, and I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I thought that the first 20 minutes was so good. I expected to give it a 9 or a 10. Like, I was like, man, this is going to be a great, amazing movie. I was actually genuinely scared, which is hard to do because I watch a lot of horror movies. And so it's like hard to get me in that like actual scared zone. But the home break-in thing is so realistic, and we just closed on our house in January, so it's still like a little bit of a new place. And yeah, I enjoyed that. I liked being scared, and I enjoyed the ride a lot. There was like a 30 to 45 minute zone in the middle, but it wasn't as big for me because I liked the beginning of like the sequence after it cut, the first 20 minutes, like the sequence afterwards. I liked it, and then it got a little boring towards the very middle of the movie, and then it picked back up again in the end. So that's why it doesn't get like a 9 or a 10, but I'm going to give it an 8.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh, sorry, Sasha. You good?
It's okay. I'm going to go ahead and give it a 6 because I really like the first half and the ending, but the middle that killed it for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna. It might be just a state of mind when I was watching it. Maybe I just wasn't in the mood. Also, my perspective. I don't have a kid. I don't have that type of lifestyle, so I don't know. I can't. It's hard for me to try to connect with the audience like this movie seems to be intended for. But I think, yeah, I'm gonna give it like a 4 out of 10.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is your girlfriend upset about it since you recommended it?
Huh? No. I mean, she was fine. I was giving her a hard time. I was having fun with her, but no, it was worth watching. I'll say that. It wasn't worth not watching. Like it was good something to just see. But for like, I don't know. Yeah, that's all I gotta say with that one.
Did she listen to episode 1 real quick before we go to Jake? Sorry, Jake.
I think
I just want to know.
She watched it live.
Yeah, she said
it was part of it.
Yeah.
Wasn't she there for the last half?
Yeah, she was.
She
was
came
a little
in at
bit.
the end.
Yeah, she's coming back from New York City now, so that's why she's not here right now. But no, I'm gonna force her into one of these.
Okay, sorry to interrupt you there,
Alright,
Jake.
Jake.
I just wanted in between those two. I didn't want to forget to ask Josh.
So I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 10
Wow.
because
Nice.
the first 20 minutes were great, but like I said before, I don't think that whole trope of the killer being upstairs was entirely original. I think it was something that was done before, or a story that had been told before. But
Even then?
I could be wrong, but I think the cinematography and just the tension that was built in the first 20 minutes was so good, and then the movie completely went off the rails, like I said earlier, for me, and I could never get back into it. Like Josh said, though, it's something I'm glad I watched once, but if I want like a babysitter stalking movie, I'm gonna watch Halloween again.
I agree with you.
Yep.
Alright,
Alright,
so
that's
the
it.
next one would be The Howling, and that one came out in 81.
I like
Who
that.
recommended this crap?
I liked it.
I did.
It was good. I liked the campiness so much.
I love that we're going to disagree this time. I hope that we can have a little bit of constructive conflict here.
For me,
It's interesting to listen to.
there was a lot of stuff that I laughed at, but I did appreciate the special effects that they did. That took like 10 minutes for the goddamn werewolf to actually evolve. Like, it was like 10 minutes long. So, like, this person could have ran away easily for that time. But, like,
That reminded me of like Dragon Ball Z when the enemies power up and they just wait instead of
and there's
attacking.
something about, like, having non-computer generated, like, when the fingertips turn into claws and they get, like, a zoom in on that and, like, it's growing and you can hear, like, somebody crinkling a trash bag in the background for noise to make it sound like it's the whole evolving of the skin breaking. Like,
that scene made me laugh for that same reason, because it was like he was transforming, and then it would cut to the girl, and she'd be like, "Oh no!" and then it would transform for 30 seconds and cut back to her. "Oh no!" You could have run out and been halfway across the colony by now.
Like, you can tell they put a lot of budget into that particular 10 minutes just to have the effects like that. I mean, and it did seem a little bit more real than like computer generated in a way. But not like with the speed. Like if they could go a little bit faster with it, but probably at that time they couldn't. But like having to show those details that they do, like they're more details than what you would see in a computer generated thing, and actually does kind of feel a little bit more real in a way.
Yeah.
But I can agree with the argument of special effects need to kind of go back to that than what they do.
Yeah, it's a practical effect. Like I feel like that was very much the focus of this film was the practical effects. So the practical effects were the main part. If it wasn't for those, I would give this rating a lot lower score at the end. But the practical effects are really good, I think. I mean, sometimes it looks a little cheesy, and that's just because I'm watching it on a 4K screen,
well, I think
and it's probably an up-converted, version that I got. What is it?
No, I get that. It's the time, the length it took to like folks like, all right, come on already. Like you got the point after the first 30 seconds, and then they just kept.
You gotta think though, when you're watching a werewolf movie, the one thing you really want to see is a good transformation scene, and they were like, here you go.
Yeah.
You get like 5 of them. Because there were multiple transformation scenes.
I think it would have been better if like, the person wasn't attacked, like there was no victim during those scenes. Like maybe it was somebody that's getting transitioned to the werewolf and they're struggling with that scene. I would have been a lot more okay with taking the time to do that. But when it's under suspense and this guy's gonna kill her, but he first needs to turn into a werewolf first and have her wait and be like, hold on one moment while he turns. Like, I think if it was just this guy that was an innocent guy before and then got bit, whatever, and then it was him probably alone or something like that, and he's struggling and he's not attacking anybody at that moment, then you can do that whole
You just described American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
I was getting ready to add American Werewolf in London came out the same year the Howling did, so maybe the Howling was having a little bit of trouble trying to keep up with American Werewolf.
Well, yeah. Tasha, I looked it up right before this, actually. The Howling came out 6 months before.
Oh, well, okay, excuse me, but American Werewolf was 10 times better than the Howling.
No, I agree, and the whole time I was watching it, I was thinking, this is kind of a ripoff of American Werewolf, and then I was like, oh shit, this came out before.
Well, American Werewolf had to step up its game then. They had to step it up.
But I'll start from the beginning. I thought the opening in this scene, or this movie, was really good as well. It was hysterical, though. Like, I was writing notes in my phone throughout all these movies, and the first note I wrote in The Howling is, this must be the most porno stores per capita in the world. Because it just was like, look at all these porno stores. There was just a bunch of establishing shots.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's because of the police landscape nowadays or something, but I thought it was really funny that they just started unloading through the door without even looking. They were just like, right? They didn't even assess the situation. They just emptied those clips. They heard someone screaming and fired at them through a doorway.
Yeah, it's remarkable they didn't hit the woman too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's very.
Maybe they were looking to their left at the security camera, and they were like super trick shot, aiming to the side and looking at the security camera. Not really, but I laughed during that just because I was sitting there thinking about how annoying it would be, if somebody just shot through doors like that, or just inappropriate, not annoying.
Yeah.
What about when they first got to the camp and the dude this was the only bad acting throughout the whole movie. When they first got to the camp and the dude was trying to get to the fire and he's like, please, I want to end it. And he was wanting to commit suicide or something. He wanted to jump into the fire. But I just found myself laughing because I did not believe the performance at all. And it was like a meme. It was so bad.
Yeah.
Old man.
When the old man was like, please, I want to end it. I laughed so hard that Tasha had to pause the movie when he did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like When a Stranger Calls. I thought the intro scene was good at building tension, kind of with the porno theater and the guy stalking her or whatever. But then it just felt like it changed and became a completely different movie when she was like, "Oh, go to this colony," and I was like, "Why? Why is she doing that?"
Yeah, that was in our notes too. Yeah. That was in Tasha's notes. It's like, why would they send her to this redneck colony?
Yes.
You're having some problems, all right? I'm gonna send you, out in the woods, and that's just gonna make you better, Gotta get away a little bit.
No, I've just been deprived of these type of special effects. I haven't even seen American Werewolf, which I need to. So this is the first time I finally watched a movie that was like this with those effects. So that's the thing that got me. That's why I could appreciate that aspect of it, but the whole intensity and all that kind of went away with the amount of time it took. That's my stuff.
I felt like the ending when she turned into a werewolf, it was pretty predictable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was kind of a weird. It felt like they were trying to do a meta commentary on violence in pop culture or something, because basically at the end it cuts to all the scenes of the people just being like, oh, the news anchor woman's becoming a werewolf, and the one guy in the bar is like, these special effects just keep getting worse. It was that was just kind of a weird comedic thing to end on, kind of like Rosemary's Baby. It just the comedic ending just felt kind of weird and out of left field.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe it was a cultural thing at the time, you know.
That's what I was going to say.
Maybe we don't understand like one movie that came out close to it that did it, and then it was like really funny there. So then a lot of movies decided to do it for a little while before it like kind of fell by the wayside. Maybe that's the situation.
Yeah.
Because it's around the same time between the first two that we're talking about here. So.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest challenge for me is putting myself completely back at that time with the technology that's out, including communication and like cameras, phones, all that type of stuff. Like Rosemary's Baby, when she just changed the TV with this big ass brick for a remote, and she's like, when she turned off the TV that was right behind her, like that type of stuff. It was fascinating to watch and see. Like trying to get past it is probably the biggest struggle for being actually scared in those type of movies and back in that
yeah.
It's a challenge sometimes.
Yeah, I think I can Yeah, I'll agree that I don't know exactly what was going on in the social climate back then, but I still think overall the story and the plotting of this was extremely weak. Like why did they go to the colony? Why did the TV news people or the TV anchors why did they just show up at the colony later?
Mm-hmm.
It just felt I didn't know why people were doing things. And then it was like at the end it's just they're werewolves, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, it just felt like it was thrown together.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah. Tasha had a couple more notes.
No, they're not one-to-one, really.
I like that. Okay, so one thing she said out loud that I thought was really funny is that she thought that the lady werewolf at the end looks like an Ewok, like exactly like an Ewok from Star Wars.
Yeah.
The news anchor lady?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, as soon as she said that, I was like, holy crap, you're so right. But yeah, that's about it. I went through all my notes. Oh, one thing though is I love one of the attentions to detail, and I really do think that this movie was made by people who are very passionate about practical effects. So I have nothing but good to say about that stuff. I love practical effects. You know, I like it when it's like that instead of like a CG thing, personally. And one of the things also that I liked was the props. So they had some kind of graphic designer do like custom labels for some things, and I love that attention to detail. So they had some like wolf chili. I don't know if that's like an actual brand, like a local brand, but usually when that's in movies, I assume that it's like a practical effect. So when I notice boxes saying like wolf chili and stuff like that, I always love seeing that in movies. And I just wanted to give a shout out, you know, and say that like I love that they did that in the movie, and we've been crapping on it a little bit. So practical effects guy and graphic designer guy, you guys are cute.
Well, if they ever have it at Universal, they might have it at the tour. You could always ask them if they ever had them at Horror Nights.
True.
Yeah, I agree that the special effects were amazing, and like I said earlier, that's kind of the main thing, at least I look for in a werewolf movie.
Yeah.
But just the kind of what I said about When a Stranger Calls, I think the werewolf transformation was cool and the effects were great, but if I want a good werewolf story, I'm probably going to rewatch American Werewolf in London again.
Yeah, which is a great movie.
Yeah. So my overall rating of this movie is... Oh, did you guys have any closing things before we go into that? Sorry about that.
Nope.
One other stupid thing I noticed was when the TV producer or whatever he was, he came to rescue her, and he had the silver bullets in the gun, and he shot like 3 or 4 of the werewolves, and then they ran out of the barn, and to bar the barn door, he uses the gun. I was like, why would you use the gun to bar the door rather than just shoot them?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. True that.
Wait, did he run out of bullets though? The silver bullets?
If he did, I don't think they hinted at that, but that would have made sense. I would have excused it, but I don't think they were. I don't think he was like, "Oh man, I'm out of bullets."
I like how the dude was like, when he picked up the bullets, I don't know why this was necessary, but when he picked them up, he was like, charge me for it. Or something like that. Like, you know, the guy was like, how are you going to pay for this? After he had already constructed the bullets out of pure silver, I'm like, okay, you must know that this guy can pay for these bullets before you buy this silver ahead of time and make these bullets.
Yeah.
Like, we know he's rich, or not rich, but he makes good money because he's a doctor and stuff. So it's like, I don't know. I just feel like putting it in there. They just wanted to let us know that he's a baller or something. We wanted to know, like, he's got the money. Just wanted to let you know. Also, the glass at the end, like, it was completely, like, was werewolf proof for a lot longer than I thought it would be. But I know like cop cars have like bulletproof glass. So I don't know if it makes more sense that it was hard to break, or that werewolves are strong enough that it'd be easy to break after it's already cracked like that. So.
Yeah. No, I think my rating 6 out of 10.
Okay.
For the effects, mainly.
Okay. Jake Arena.
Yeah, I think I'd do a 6 out of 10 also. I think the effects were cool, and I liked that they kind of built this universe in a way that there's this kind of secret society of werewolves, and I like the idea of that kind of expanded universe that they could potentially build on in sequels, but I probably won't watch the sequels because the first movie wasn't that great to begin with. But yeah. I like that they attempted to build a universe.
Almost kind of a little like Trick or Treat in a way, but those vampires for Trick or Treat at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will be recommending that one around October. Just to let the listeners know that you mentioned Trick or Treat. It's been my plan the whole time. Whenever we do the September one, whichever ones we choose for that, and then when we do the one towards the end of October, for sure. And if we meet up in person for Horror Nights, maybe we'll even do a podcast while we're there or something, all locally.
Let's do a podcast live from Horror Nights. As we're screaming over chainsaws in the background.
If you guys want us to do that, comment below, let me know.
Alright, now, sorry, Tasha?
My ranking would have to be a 5. I liked it overall, but I still prefer American Werewolf.
Yeah, so you think it's an average movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a 5 sort of means to me. So my ranking is a 4. I would have given it a 3 or a 2. I think who gave it a 3?
Nobody.
Okay, that was Jake for the previous film. I would probably give it a 4 because I thought that the special effects brought it up a little bit. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys, something that the biggest weighing factor for me is actually the structure and pacing of the story and the screenplay and stuff. And I thought that was a weaker element of the film. But the practical effects were so appreciable that it brought it up from a 2 or a 3 to a 4 for me. I don't think I would rewatch this movie though, so I'm leaning towards a 3, but I'm gonna give it a 4. Be a little generous because of the wolf chili. So the wolf chili got an extra point there.
Yeah.
I agree.
Alright, and last but not least,
Zombeavers.
Yes, I'm excited to talk about this one. Oh my god, I want to know what you guys think of my dang suggestions.
Great. I like the phrases. I know they tried really, really hard though with
the phrases.
Yeah, the phrases about the movie, just the funny phrases, just because it was very obviously campy, and you can tell the directors they were trying to. It wasn't like they were failing; they were doing it on purpose. But
thank you for recognizing that.
When they're escaping in the car in the Prius, whatever, and he's all like, "It's a hybrid. You gotta finesse it," type of stuff.
Yeah, it's a hybrid. You gotta finesse it.
Good evening. This month's episode of Pennywine Horror Club is brought to you by Slick Willie's Porno Palace in LA's Skid Row. Are you looking for a place to meet up with the woman you've been stalking? Our private booths are the perfect size for you to sit in shadow behind her and awkwardly turn on the TV, resulting in a nice cheap jump scare. And don't worry, werewolves are welcome. And by Swooning for Satan, New York's premier and only demon-based dating service. Why settle for a mere mortal when you can shack up with the Prince of Darkness himself? He's 9 feet tall, muscular build, has a bunch of followers, and is looking to start a family right away. Don't delay, call Swooning for Satan today.
So Josh just now talked a little bit about how, self-aware campy the movie is, and I think that is such an important distinction to make because I've seen people review it.
One of the top 2 comedians in the beginning. Well, what was it? The singer was it?
John Mayer.
John Mayer and the comedian.
Bill Burr.
Bill Burr, yeah. that like immediately like sets you off on like, oh, this is what type of movie it is. And they also close with those two guys too doing the same thing.
Yeah.
No,
I didn't realize that.
They knew exactly what they were doing. Like
I didn't recognize any of the talent in this movie at all.
Yeah.
Personally. I'm gonna be
Yeah,
super
no, I don't
honest.
think any of the actors like got past this movie, did they?
I don't think so.
No, so I looked at IMDb'd a couple of them, and they've been in other things, but nothing big. Like none of them were in like Avengers or something.
Yeah.
But
Ant-Man.
Ant-Man was in it. But yeah, I mean, just going through the self-awareness thing, like I've seen a lot of external reviews of this movie that like treat it like a serious movie when they review it. So I use an app called Taste, where people like they review it, they're like, this is a really stupid movie and stuff, and they don't talk about how the tone doesn't land for them. So they thought it was a serious movie, and that the filmmakers just failed at what they did. And I'm like, whoosh! You know, when I heard that.
Everything, like in the beginning, the title, Zombeavers, like who the fuck, like come on.
Yeah, it's like Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I mean, the opening scene when they hit the deer and they's like, I don't think it's gonna make it. It's like,
Yeah, that was such a big laugh for me when like John Mayer was like, "Do you see that deer coming up?" And Bill Burr's like, "Yup," and he's like, "I don't think you do," and then he hits it.
And it was great when they did the exact same thing at the very end of the movie.
Yeah.
That was perfect.
Yeah, that was such a good joke. That was such a. I think Josh said that's such a good way to set the tone of the movie, so you know exactly what you're in for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love how the credits are at the beginning, where you just see it go down the river and just end up there.
The credits were actually interesting. I liked it was creative, but like it was good. I appreciated it. Like you can tell the craftsmanship wasn't completely on par, but like the whole concept of everything, like it was really well put together for it.
Yeah, the intro animation felt amateur, but the idea of it was really good.
Yeah, but again, that also set the tone of the movie in a way. Like you're like, oh, so it's gonna be this type of thing, and then like, the quotes throughout the whole thing were just great. Like it was gold. But I wish I could have written down some more stuff. I just remembered the hybrid thing. Like it's a hybrid, you gotta finesse it.
Okay, so what? I just started out like I just thought it was really funny that they just had the one actress that just like had no top. It was just like they just had that through the movie. It reminded me of the beginning of Thanksgiving, where like the lady's running away and she's got her boobs out. And it's just like, what the heck? So they just had that in there for no reason. But I don't know. I thought it was funny. The group chemistry between the actors, like I felt like that they were real friends. Some of the lines obviously are dumb because it's a dumb movie, but I felt like they were all well delivered, and it gave me the sense that some of it was improv. I haven't read it all about the film, but I definitely felt some kind of improv.
The remakes or the retakes at the end, where they're like joking, like you can tell right at that time, especially the dude that had his foot cut off. Or,
he improv'd everything, I think.
He had really funny things he said. I can't remember any of them. But those are.
One criticism I have for the movie is that, like, once his leg gets cut off, he obviously has to cringe the whole time. Yeah. And I felt like that's why the center of the movie it slows down a little bit. So the first act is really good, and the third act is really good, but then in the middle it gets a little boring for a little while. Like starting when they leave in the truck, and maybe like into after they get out of the parents' house across the way. You know, like the people across the way. It kind of like has this zone in the middle that I think it would be stronger if they wouldn't have introduced too many elements of conflict. Well,
and not to argue that though, I think. Well, speaking about the guy that got his foot bitten off, he was taking a lot of attention to me, like in the beginning. So like to break that, I thought was good in a way to like have him take off and be like, all right, let's focus on some other elements of the movie here. And to kind of get you off of that, like, oh, let's really pay attention to this character because he's got the lines. But I like the fact that they kind of broke it off there and you kind of explored a little bit more. And because they did, I mean, the beavers were horrible. The hand puppet.
No, I am gonna disagree 100%.
Yeah, I thought the beavers were hilarious.
Dragging when you drag this stuffed beaver to the floor.
Look in the credits when they showed the dog playing with the beavers when he's supposed to be afraid of.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, I thought the beavers were awesome. Yes, they were really cheesy.
They're great. They're great for that. Yeah.
I honestly thought if it had been anything other than a zombie beaver, if it had been something like a creature or a monster you could take seriously, I think it would have probably been kind of scary because those things looked rabid and pretty.
Well, when people turn into beavers, they got me a little bit. Like the effects of the people turning into beavers with the teeth, and like they kind of got a little bit of effects going on there. Like I didn't appreciate that. They were kind of scary. Like I would not want to have like chasing me in the middle of the woods.
Yeah, no, I gotta disagree on that one too, man. I thought that the beaver, like I loved it, and I thought it matched the tone of the movie, but I was not scared by the lady turning into the beaver.
Well, I think that was the scariest part
of
the whole movie was when the people finally changed. Except the girl that was upstairs just banging her butt up and down with the tail. For no reason.
Yeah. Dude, Tasha thought that there was about to be a lesbian sex scene. She was like, nah.
Yes, I was not about to watch this.
Yeah, they're extremely horny too. Like when they get in the middle, about to get killed, like they're always trying to get it on with each other, and that was kind of funny to see.
I like the part when that one guy was turning into the Zombeaver and he had like the stump leg.
Yeah. Oh yeah, even though he was a zombie beaver, his leg was still missing, so he was like stumping around.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, okay. The funniest part of the whole movie that has me crying every time I watch it was when they sacrifice the dog and he throws it, and then they don't even swim.
He said something like,
They don't even swim.
Surf's up, buddy.
Until after. Surf's up, buddy. They don't even swim until after the dog is already dead.
Yeah, like they don't even use the head start they needed. They just throw it in, watch it die, and then go.
Yeah, they want to try to let the moment sink in, you know, that the dog dies, but it ends up being pretty funny.
And I like when they're like talking to each other about like when they're boarding up the house, and like the one dude was joking, it's like the beavers chew through wood. What are we doing right now?
Yeah, he's boarding it up. They chew through wood.
I also there was one scene where it showed them using like duct taping a couch to the door or something, and I was like, what are they doing?
Yeah, and when the dude got his foot bit off, I was like, dude, I literally think I have the same Dollar Tree foot that they used. Like, the exact same prosthetic foot. Because we have one literally on, like, upstairs. I had to get it out of a thing and put it on my bed just today. And I looked at it, and I was like, it looks exactly like the dude's foot in the movie, and I got it at the Dollar Tree.
Well, when that guy, like, comes in and talks to the booby girl, I'll call her the booby girl, like, she has his foot in the bag, and he's all like, what do you do with that? It's like, I'm supposed to put ice on that foot. It's like, well, you're not supposed to put the ice directly on the foot. So, well, what am I supposed to do? And there's, like, in that whole, like, confrontation, or, like, the whole, like, oh, we're fucked. It's like, there was something that the guy said right in response to that was pretty good. But
he was like, you want some chicken?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I also thought the... Smith with a Y or whatever his name was. One of my other favorite parts was when he's in the old couple's cabin and he walks upstairs, sees the dead woman on the bed, and just goes, okay, and then closes the door.
Yeah, and I thought that the lady's like southern accent was a bit inconsistent.
Yeah.
Yes,
like,
I have that in my notes too. All of their accents were all over the place. Because we're
from West Virginia, so we're used to hearing authentic southern accents because it's just like from where we're from. And so when you hear her, sometimes she does it right, and like with so the eats and stuff, and then sometimes she just doesn't. So yeah, inconsistent there. I don't know why they had to make her southern. Like, why did they make her do that if she's not southern?
Yeah, no, my thing was also the inconsistency with the amount of time I think there's a lot of zombie things though. Is the amount of time it took a person to change to be a zombie. Like one person was upstairs the whole night, and then she decided to change right at the time that the girl was up there. Like she chilling on the bed waiting to do something, and I guess she finally like got up. Like, but that happens with a lot of zombie movies. I noticed.
Well, the guy that got his, or go ahead, Tasha.
Sorry. What do y'all think about Would You Rather game? Like, would you rather murder somebody or?
Oh yeah, those were some of the best Would You Rather questions because you don't want to do either one.
And then they're like gang up.
You're like your mom and your girlfriend switch bodies, and like you have to have sex with one of them in order to restore it. Which one do you choose? I was thinking about that. I was like, holy shit, I don't know which one I would choose. Those are some toughies, dude.
Yeah, that was
Which one would you choose, Josh? I'm going to ask Jake because that'd be kind of.
I'm not going to choose any. I'm going to be just like what they did. They turned it on the girl.
Me and Tasha were talking about that in detail afterwards.
I just run doses.
I'm not answering that question. This question's a bombshell because either I have to say that I have sex with my mom's brain in my girlfriend's body, or my girlfriend's brain in my mom's body. Either way, I lose.
Yeah. No, it was a fun movie. I liked it. Wasn't scary, but it wasn't meant to be scary either. I don't think so. It was a fun movie in that, I guess, having fun with the horror genre.
Yeah, I'll say two things in closing. One positive, another joke that I wrote down that I really thought was hysterical was when the old man in the cabin is like, those kids over there are probably scissoring each other to Lady Gaga or whatever kids do.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I didn't write that down. I'm so glad you mentioned that.
So the jokes throughout were great. It was based on the title, I was like, this is a Friday night movie, crack open a couple cold ones with the boys and just put it on. And I was right. It was perfect for that.
It fits the bill, man.
My one negative, or the only thing I think they could have cut, was that whole like love triangle. She cheated on him with me, or what, blah blah blah. Like that, they tried to make it a real tension thing, and the movie did not need that. It should have been all fun all the time.
Literally, in my closing thing, I was going to say the exact same thing. So I don't think that we disagree at all on this movie compared to the last two. But except for, I guess, on the special effects that Josh was mentioning. But yeah, like that.
Damn it, Josh.
Although there was a joke payoff, the joke wasn't really that funny. So the whole joke payoff was supposed to be that like she bit his dick off, as retribution. So you're kind of supposed to get that justice, like thing.
I would have laughed just as much if she had just bit his dick off for no reason.
Yeah.
If like human version would have done that.
Well, no, like I get what you're saying is kind of a justification for that whole B plot, but I think I would have just if the zombie girl had just jumped up and bitten the guy's penis off for no reason, I would have been like, okay.
Yeah, I think that the payoff wasn't good enough.
What was the
I agree.
Get his bit dick off was the 1 foot guy. He seemed like he'd be the best candidate for that one.
If there was a joke that was so funny that it was like a big payoff, then I wouldn't have any criticism for the love triangle thing. But yeah, that joke didn't land for me really. And like it could have been like Steve the Kayak King from like last month, and You Might Be the Killer, and it's just like a quick thing that they do, and it's really funny because it's just that quick, and they just keep saying that. And with this one, it's like they weave it into the plot for that payoff, and then it just doesn't pay off, and it really detracts a little bit away from other things. So I agree with you. I was just trying to exemplify why I don't like it, but yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll do ratings. And by the way, we didn't say this at the beginning, but I suggested this one. Hello. I guess the process of elimination, you guys could have figured that out. But I don't think I said that at the beginning. So I guess I'll rate it first since I suggested it. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I was going to give it a little higher, but like I don't think it's fair for me to rate it above You Might Be the Killer because I like You Might Be the Killer better. overall, personally. And the reason why I'm going to compare it now, I would like you guys to, if you don't mind, on yours, because it's two campy ones that I rated in a row, and I would like to see how you guys feel like that it compares to. I know it's like a little bit more stupid, so it's a different kind of funny, but I'm just curious as to where that lands. But yeah, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. A little bit better than average, I think. I enjoy it a lot. But it's not a masterpiece. You know, it's kind of a stupid movie, so it's got a cap on how good it can be.
Joshua?
I'm going to rate it also a 6 out of 10. I was actually kind of impressed with it because normally I don't like these kind of movies, and it did make me laugh in certain parts of it.
I was really surprised that Tasha liked it, you guys, because Tasha's not lying when she says that. I force her to watch these stupid movies sometimes, but she always gets mad and hates the whole thing. So that's a really good testimonial from her that she gave it a 6. That's way higher than I expected. I thought she was going to give it her first 2 or 1.
For me, I'm going to say, now this is backing up. So what I'm doing is I am going off of what the director's intention was. Okay. I'm doing a 7.5, 7 out of 10 for this one, just because of the intention of the director. It was clear. There was nothing like that was unexpected. Like what they tried to achieve seemed to be what was achieved during that whole time. As for that, now scary, yeah, it wasn't scary, but it wasn't necessarily meant to be scary either. It was just something to have fun with scary movies that you typically would kind of see as a pattern. So that's why I like, this is probably my top for director's intention. For like actual scariness, I will disagree, obviously, but yeah, 7.5 out of 10 just with that. That's my director's intention based.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember what I gave You Might Be the Killer last month. I think it was like an 8, or it was high because I love that movie. I also really like this movie, not quite as much as that one. So I would give this one a 7 out of 10. I love this movie. It was so much fun. I could honestly see myself watching this movie from time to time again, which I don't see myself watching any of the other 3 ever again. Yeah. So I think that's probably a good praise for this movie. And kind of like Josh was saying, this movie, while it wasn't a serious movie, it was very focused in its tone, in its vision, in its storytelling. It knew exactly what it was. It wasn't trying to be something it's not. And the story, it was like an hour and 15-minute movie. It showed you exactly what you needed, nothing you didn't, and it was a very enjoyable watch. I was fully engaged the whole way through, which I wasn't for When a Stranger Calls. I think the director did not know what tone he wanted with that one.
Yeah. Tito.
All right. And you already said your overall score, so we're through it.
So
yeah.
So it was a pretty good pack of movies this week. We'll take turns doing the film rankings like we did last time. I think that's a good tradition that Josh started when he asked us that last time. So I guess I don't want to keep talking over you guys. I know I'm the host and stuff, but I'll let somebody else start this time.
I'll be sorry.
Oh, sounds good.
Alright, so in overall, I would have to do Rosemary's Baby, then Zombeavers, When a Stranger Calls, and then The Howling as my top.
Okay. Jake?
I would go Zombeavers, Rosemary's Baby, Howling, When a Stranger Calls.
And I am the exact same thing as Jake. So the top being, well, Zombeavers and Rosemary's Baby, they could tie, but in a different way, and for different categories. Like Rosemary's Baby, I would think would be the scariest out of all of them. Zombeavers is the director's intention out of all of them. So they're kind of tied for me with that. But yeah, then The Howling, and then When a Stranger Calls, because I don't like how The Stranger Calls, the entire movie overall, its plot was.
You only liked it when The Stranger Called. You didn't like the rest.
Exactly. Stranger Called, freaking happy.
Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, so my favorite one is When a Stranger Calls, which I think all of you ranked in the back of your list. Oh, no. Tosh did. So it's hard for me to choose between Zombeavers and Rosemary's Baby for my rankings. But my favorite one was When a Stranger Calls, like I said earlier. And then I'm going to say probably Zombeavers, number 2, and then Rosemary's Baby, and then The Howling. I liked all of these films. I didn't think that any of them were a complete waste of time, like a couple times ago.
The Final Wish.
Like The Final Wish. That's my ranking.
Okay. Alright, so we go ahead and recommend for next month.
So my recommendation for this time is Suspiria, the remake, the new one. I want you guys to see it really badly, and I watched it recently. I really like Hereditary. I would compare it to that film, but I think it's even better. And I bought Hereditary. Like, I bought it, Like, nobody buys fucking Ultra HD Blu-rays anymore. But I bought it because I love it. And so even though I loved Hereditary, I still like that one even more. So
cool.
What I'm gonna do, I'm thinking here. I heard good things from another coworker. The Witch.
You mean the Vitch?
The Vitch? The Vitch? Yeah, with the 2 V's.
Jake's making a typography joke.
No, he's right. It is 2 V's. The 2015 The Vitch.
The Vitch.
The Vitch.
You gotta say the Vitch.
The Vitch. Yep. No, that one.
Oh my God. I can talk about my theater experience if I remember.
You saw that one in theater?
I did see that one in the theaters, and I won't spoil it here, but the audience, didn't receive that one very well. So I'll talk about it.
Is that a PG-13 horror movie? Is that why?
I think it's R. So it's just adults being rude because they were missold on the trailer probably. But I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to talk about what they did. But there was
We can talk about it in the next podcast.
Yeah, exactly. It would be some interesting stuff to talk about.
Alright, I'll go ahead and go. I'm going to do the 1976 version of The Omen since next month is Father's Day.
Oh, so she did a Mother's Day one and then a Father's Day one, dude. You
Tasha's
are
really
on fire, Tasha.
She is timely.
Yeah, she
Very
she
good.
thinks through it a lot more than we do. I think.
Yes, she does.
I just pick movies I want to see.
No, I literally typed in best horror films just now, and I saw
No. Okay, well I guess
I heard good
Jake
things.
goes next.
I haven't seen it yet. So yeah.
My pick is Dawn of the Dead.
Nice.
I have never seen it. I watched the Night of the Living Dead, and I wasn't a fan. So
No, I like that. That's really good. I think we should always, with all of these, have at least one really good, campy, funny horror movie, like Zombeavers. Like,
Yeah.
that is a good thing to
I was
have.
thinking that.
Dawn
You
of
know
the
what we
Dead
should do?
is similar like that.
You know what? Now that Jake said that, I was thinking. I don't know if it's possible to do this, and it's okay if it's not. But what I would love to do is talk about the Dawn of the Dead along with Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
So if we could watch 5 movies this time and just combine those 2 into one conversation, that'd be pretty funny.
In 1 month we could do the remake of Evil Dead and the original Evil Dead too, because the original's campy too.
Yeah, we could compare like originals and the new remakes because there's a ton of freaking horror movies with all that.
if we're gonna compare Evil Dead, it's got to be Evil Dead 2 and the remake.
Do that.
Oh man.
What, you don't like Evil Dead 2, Tasha?
Well, I hadn't actually watched that one, to be honest with you. But
Have you guys seen Cabin in the Woods?
Yes.
Okay.
Love
That was a good one.
Hate
I love that too.
Tasha doesn't like it. I liked it.
I liked it.
So we have a huge avenue of movies to discuss. So, all right. So are we officially watching both Shaun of the Dead and Dawn of the Dead, or are we? You guys want to save Shaun for later?
We can do that. I've seen Shaun enough. I feel like I can talk about it.
You've known
We'll
Shaun.
save that for later. Yeah. Let's do Dawn of the Dead. I need to rewatch that again.
Oh yeah, by the way, boys, Suspiria, just to let you guys know, and also the viewers listening to this, since you guys might be watching the movies along with us, when you watch Suspiria, just make sure to know that the way that they make films in the area that it was filmed in is they dub the voices over. So you're gonna think that you got like a weird copy of it because they dub the voices and stuff, but it's not. It's the correct version. You're not supposed to understand everything that everyone says, and all that stuff. So Tosh has got to go because our baby's awake all the way now. But I just wanted to.
Hi, Dasha.
I just wanted to warn you guys about that. So, all right. So to end this podcast, I want to thank everybody that tuned in for the first episode. We got a good start. We got 10 subscribers. We didn't get any meanies, unfortunately, like Jake was describing last week. We got no comments. So, if this one does a little better on the algorithm,
Come on, trolls, where are you?
If you like leaving comments, leave a comment down below.
Yeah, come on, you're a dick.
Yeah, if you made it this far, and you don't leave a comment, you're a meanie. You're a big meaner. Just kidding. All right, well, it was really nice to.
I wanna plug my shirts real quick because I'm a mogul.
Forgot about that.
Since last month, I had 2 new shirts come out called Frankincense and Bride of Frankincense, and the shirts are a Frankenstein on a coin.
Nice.
So it's a really bad pun, but I think the designs are pretty cool, and
I have a scratch and sniff for frankincense. The other sense kind of weird.
Yeah, I'll just sell perfume to go along with the shirt.
Just spray it on the shirt and send it out.
Every order gets a free. I'm just kidding.
And then I have another shirt coming out this Friday, which I think this will be out by then. Well, depending on editing, but it's going to be Jaws themed, so it'll be pretty cool. Go to jakensteinapparel.com to learn more.
Yeah.
What about the that one? You had another shirt there with the symbol of the carpet.
Well, I have 2. I have the 2 carpets from The Shining, the 2 famous ones.
The Shining. There you go.
I have those as well.
Do it.
Buy them.
Everybody, do it. Just do it.
We will remember you early people. So if you comment, and let us know what you thought of the podcast. You made it all the way to the end. If we will be posting these every month, and if the podcast grows over time, we will remember the people who followed us early. So just let us know you're here. When you subscribe, and toss us a like if you liked it, dislike it if you don't like it. Let us know.
Yeah, just post in the comments how much you don't like Josh.